What's up, party people? The NBA season is officially underway, and we got a lot to talk about. Stephen A. Smith cooked AD this morning, as always, and we had a brutal loss to the Nuggets. I'm Jaya with Lakers Digest, and I'm here with my co-hosts.
Okechi.
And JayRob here as always. We are off to a crazy start to the year. Definitely agree with this sentiment that Stephen A. Smith cooked Anthony Davis. First things first, thoughts and reactions to the season opener.
If you guys watched our last video, you knew that I thought we were gonna lose, and also it's the first game of the season. As we've talked about, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Always disappointing to lose the first game, but I don't think we should be taking too much stock into it as to see kind of how the rest of the season's gonna play out. Like how, of course, Stephen A. Smith is talking about AD being the reason we're not gonna win a championship this year based off one performance. It's brutal.
I kind of agree with you. Like, it's we can't take too much stock into this, but there's all a couple of things for sure that I think we gotta keep an eye on. And AD obviously didn't play up to standards, but I think AD's gonna be better. Like that next game versus the Suns, it's gonna he's gonna wreck shop, I feel like. And just other things, our rebounding wasn't super great, super hot. So this is something that's gonna be, I think, an issue for the Lakers. We're gonna have to watch during the season because AD is one of our best rebounders, and when he's not on the floor, then it's kind of like who's gonna rebound for the Lakers. And so the Nuggets were really killing the Lakers in second chance points and stuff like that. And LeBron's minutes. That's interesting. So like it was down. It was like 29, and Darvin Ham said something about that. This is probably going to be around where he's going to be playing her at. So, just a couple of things, and I think the Lakers will be better, but unfortunately, we lost that one.
Yeah, I think because we're scared of injury again. That was my biggest takeaway from that. And it was also just crazy to see the difference between the score when we had LeBron and not. He just makes such a difference on the court. It's ridiculous to have to put that much weight into one player, but did suck not to have him play as often.
Well, for me, one, I guess I was the lone soldier up here who thought we'd win by about 10 points. Definitely dropped the ball on that one. Anthony Davis ultimately, even though Stephen A was harsh on him, he has to play to a certain level, an MVP level, if this team wants to go far in terms of winning a championship and contending for one. LeBron playing around 29 minutes, that's what you want to see at this stage in his career because obviously, once he gets to that 35, 40-minute plus mark, it is taxing for his body. This man is still, like we said before, he's 100 years old, still dominating the league. And if you can get 29 efficient, best version of LeBron minutes out of him, that's what you want. And the hope was LeBron would be able to have a 29-minute game so Anthony Davis would go out there and carry that load. 0 points in the second half, going 0-6 from the field. I was really hoping Anthony Davis would impose himself. I think it was important for them to come in and set a tone, especially against a Nuggets team that has the fans chanting, "Who's your daddy?" in the stands. They are taking into this rivalry as well. You don't want to find yourself being little brother in a division that you've ran for the last 2 decades, even longer than that. I am not going to lose faith in Anthony Davis. I still think he can be this player that the Lakers need him to be. I also am not going to lose too much stock because I don't expect Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell to shoot the way they shot this game. I still think they're going to be two players that will help this Lakers team going forward. And pleasant surprise, Cam Reddish, a name that I brought up a few times as somebody who has a lot of offensive upside. The questions are what his two-way potential could be. Only took 3 shots, went 2 or 3 from the field, 1 block, +7 while he was on the floor. Definitely a player that I can look at and say, if he's able to develop, I think he can definitely be a guy for us. And Jaya, your guy Torian Prince was something spectacular to see the way he was able to shoot that basketball. I think there's some things he can also work on, but that was a pleasant surprise as well.
Yeah, definitely. Especially going off that, we got that one stat during the first quarter that the Lakers only had 3 first quarters where we scored worse. last season. That was a brutal one. So overall, our just scoring percentage needs to be better, but it'll come as the season rolls along. One thing you brought up Reeves. What did we think of Reeves briefly guarding Jokic? How did we think that went, and what did we think of that strategy?
I mean, well, I think it's just like more of like on a switch, and you know how like sometimes in NBA basketball, like the scramble situation. So like Austin was the closest guy. This obviously is part of the plan because that's not going to work because I think Jokic scored on that play, or I think he missed it and then he rebounded his own shot and then scored. So that's definitely not going to work. But the Lakers have other tricks up their sleeve. So like we didn't play Hachimura too much. Hachimura played about 15 minutes. And then also Christian Wood, I think, played around the same amount of time. And then Jared Vanderbilt didn't play. So these are guys who are bigger, can defend up and do something. So like they didn't spend too much time on Jokic, and like that will be something that changes definitely come playoff time. But first game of the season, so it's definitely seems like Darvin Ham is still figuring out those rotations, and it's gonna be like that for probably the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Totally. I think our defense suffered a bit because we were putting so much focus on Jamal Murray and then kind of slacked off on the other guys. But still figuring it out, obviously. Rough to lose to the same team for our last five games, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel like it's definitely a rough loss. I agree with Okechi 100%. I also mentioned yesterday we might have almost too much depth at times because now you have to figure out these rotations. You can kind of tell Darvin Ham didn't really know what he had and where it fit and what fit in with what. And I think that's going to take some time to figure out. And honestly, having a guy like LeBron James is kind of the best guy to have to figure out some of these rotations just because he can kind of fit in with any lineup. So you always have kind of him as like that safety cushion or safety blanket within any given five that you have out there. Along with, it's some new faces. Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, Torian Prince, Gabe Vincent didn't shoot particularly well either. So, there's a bunch of new faces still finding ways to, contribute on this basketball team. And I think once we figure that out, it'll be better going forward. I do think when we play Denver, you might have to go with a bigger lineup. I don't want to say that us getting dominated on the boards was foreshadowing for a bigger problem because I think some of it is just more so effort and boxing out, and I think we do have enough size already to be able to compete on the glass. I think that's more of an effort thing in how we got dominated in second chance points.
Totally. We were definitely a little trigger happy, and then Hachimura was had a few overshots, and which was a little not super fun to see. And I was hoping for a better debut from him as well. But the Nuggets were also really beating us on transition, which I wasn't expecting that to happen, just considering how fast LeBron is at his grown age.
Yeah, transition. Yeah, transition defense, because like those are the two things that the Lakers are terrible at, like the rebounding and transition defense. And that tends to happen just because, especially if like Anthony Davis is finishing the play, like we see it a bunch. Like he tends to fall out of bounds when the play goes and the shot goes up. So like your best defender is like the last one coming up the floor, and then you have like a 38-year-old LeBron, like two small Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, and then you're just trying to hope that you're gonna get some stops. And like the Nuggets are really good at taking charge of like those people making mistakes and stuff like that, and like their starters played a ton of minutes. So all of their starters, I think, played over 30 minutes. So they weren't really playing their bench too much either. So we'll also see that with the Nuggets. So like, will they be able to build and develop their rotation? Because obviously that's not going to fly. You can't play 5 players and just expect to win the game. So I mean, it is what it is. But the Nuggets, they showed why they won the championship last night, and hopefully the Lakers can build off of this and grow because they got Phoenix up next, and Phoenix looks pretty nice the other night against the Warriors as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. I thought the next game was gonna go on Thursday.
I actually think I think the Lakers will bounce back. I don't think it'll be a situation where it'll look like what it looked like against the Nuggets. I think, listen, if Yusuf Nurkic and Drew Eubanks are dominating Anthony Davis tomorrow in that matchup in the paint, then we have a bigger problem on our hands. But fortunately, I don't see that being an issue. I think this will be a good bounce back game for the Lakers. I also don't think Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell are going to shoot the way they shot. And I think as Darvin Ham figures this thing out, it'll be good things to come for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Totally. Yeah, I am also kind of wondering if the altitude screwed our boys a little bit for our first opener, because I mean, start of the season, even though preseason's supposed to get them back in shape because we were slow on transition. So wondering if that might have hurt us a bit. So hopefully they pull through against the Suns, and we can just blame last night's game on the altitude. Yeah. Do we have any other big takeaways?
Anything to add? Not too much, like I said, because like we can't take too much stock because it is the first game of the season.
Yeah.
But probably something to look out for besides the rotations. I kind of want to like talk about more and just get your you guys' thoughts. Is LeBron's like minutes restriction. So, it was at 29. And Darvin said it's gonna be about 29 to 30. And JayRob, you said it's probably gonna be the way going forward. But how could we probably like best use LeBron in those minutes? Because those minutes he was spectacular. He was getting downhill in transition. He wasn't getting a lot of foul calls, but that's tends to happen with LeBron. But he was really making things happen in those short spans. So like, how are we gonna be able to get groups together that maximize LeBron, and so we can be able to use him in the short burst of minutes and build out a good rotation around that?
Well,
go for it.
No, my bad. I apologize. No, first, the thing that I want to say with LeBron is, you know, he's a cog that can be put into any machine because of the way he plays the game of basketball. I thought if either of you saw that clip of D'Angelo Russell saying, you know, we got to get into that pick and roll more, because even when I'm on it, when Bron is on the elbow, he said I can see everything. And I think, you know, allowing LeBron to almost adapt to this new team, you kind of can figure out where the cohesion is with certain lineups. I think as much as we want to, you know, we're optimistic about the depth and the amount of guys that can play on this team, we still don't know what works with what. And so because you don't have that, you're not going to be able to find that in the offseason, because in the offseason and during preseason, you're not really using any set lineups, because you got guys that are trying to make the team, trying to figure out who's going to be your two-way guys that are getting sent down to the G League, who's going to get waived. You're still trying to figure out who your roster is. And because of that, you're not really putting anything really set in stone out there. You're kind of just trying to see what you have. And so now that we're playing real games where wins and losses matter, this is the time where you use your best pieces to find the best forms of cohesion within this unit. And so I think with the minute restrictions, you got to find ways to play Bron with different guys, even though his minutes are more limited. So then, you know, Bron finds Cam Reddish in the corner when he's on the floor with maybe a Austin Reeves and a Christian Wood, or you know what I'm saying? I don't have like the schematics yet. It's only been one game, but I'm just using that as an example of LeBron's ability to find, you know, maximize the roster because of how versatile of a player he is.
Totally. I mean, I was just going to say we need refs that call fouls on him. So you covered everything else I was going to take.
Yeah, for sure. Anything on the way out?
It was annoying the hell out of me.
Yep.
That was my last takeaway.
the refs, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the refs for sure. Just the only thing, Max Christie not seeing time. I get playing Cam Reddish because Cam Reddish did play pretty well, and he defended pretty well. So we'll see if that's a trend going forward, and we'll see how long that kind of goes.
Yeah, for sure. And Jaya, I know that the refs were pissing me off too, but I will say this: one thing that made me happy to see LeBron James still can drive the basketball as an elite level as anybody in this league. And even as many times that he was getting fouled, he was still able to finish in traffic at a very high clip. So, you know, sometimes you got to find the silver lining, you know?
Oh, for sure. Bro is a tank, and he always will be.
Yeah.
With that being said, thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to us. I know a lot of you have been watching and not subscribing, which makes us side and side. So make sure you go ahead and do that. We've been releasing videos a couple times a week, and with season coming, we just have more and more content and discussions for you. Once again, I've been Jaya with Lakers Digest.
I've been Okechi Opakuma.
And I'm JayRob, and we'll see you later. Peace.